explosion.
Today we have the creative mind behind the band called Crumbcatcher from Burlington since 2011, and also the one behind the Thickens, his solo project, and Marc Kennedy. Welcome.
Thanks.
So, thank you for being here today. We got lots of stuff going on. You got lots of stuff going on, but I wanted to take you back to where it all started. Like, where did you start picking up the guitar and you were like, okay, I want to sing?
Okay, I started when I was like 10 playing guitar. My dad had a guitar and he taught me a few chords. And I learned how to play a few chords. I'd say around 14, though, is when I really started to get super into it. And then it's just like, that's all I wanted to do. And I guess it was just, I found a way to express myself creatively, and it became more important to me than really doing anything else. And it hadn't stopped being that way. But that's when it started. And so that's when I really, I don't know, I remember around 14 is when I really got into it.
What was the music that your dad would play or your family would listen to?
They had a few, more than a few. Well, my dad, he had a couple good albums like the Stones albums, Beatles albums. My mom had Hendrix.
Nice.
She had Your Experience. Are You Experienced?
Are You Experienced, yeah.
Yeah. What else? My dad had some Simon and Garfunkel records. What did my mom have? My mom was listening to Bob Marley. That was a little bit later on. That was around the time I started playing guitar. I think my first tape, though, was Kiss Lick It Up.
Nice.
And I think that was like elementary school age. And then the Fat Boys were right after that, still in elementary school. And then when I was in elementary school, I remember I went through a humongous hair metal phase, 80s bands, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like all of that. So I remember that and rap of that time being the first things that I was into. And then around like when Nirvana came out, which was also like when I was in 6th grade. Anyway, that's when I started getting into music like that. And then in high school, I found friends who were into whatever, alternative punk and all kinds of stuff, and started learning more about different bands and stuff.
Nice. So,
Yeah,
I mean, you have it all. Like, you have all kinds of different genres in you and inspirations, I would say.
Yeah, I got, yes, a lot of different inspirations, but at the same time, I am a listener, but I don't have a huge record collection or stuff like that. Like, I don't know where my ideas come from exactly. They're a big mixture of all of it. I listen different than I create.
Nice. And how is that creative process for you?
The creative process is different than like the listening process. Because I don't know where this stuff originally comes from. I might have one, like with a song, I might have one notion that just started, but I might marinate on that one thing for it could be years. And so I could hear different things or just different ideas or one lyrical idea. By the time it's finished, I don't know where I started on most of them. I might have something lyrically like in my life or something that I connect to or something that started that. And I could have started with an inspiration from a guitar idea or a music idea that I heard. I want to make something like that. But what it starts with and ends is different.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
Okay.
the process is weird. And then the art process is weird too. I mean, yeah.
Okay, because I mean, you have all sorts of creative outlets, like the zine and video, collages, like you kind of do it all, like
Yeah.
your t-shirt. I know music started first, but what brought you, into the art part of it?
Okay. So skipping way ahead in time. So I'd had Crumbcatcher going for a while. That's the band that I was playing with. It broke up. I did this is comprising like years. but it broke up, and then I did a recording project on my own right after that called The Thickens, and I named it something different because I was coming from a different place. I was creating it in a different way. I was writing from the drums. I was playing all the parts, and I wasn't harping on making it be something lyrical. It was kind of more like party music, but I wanted it to sound like some band just hitting their stride, just the right perfect drunkenness at the perfect party. You know what I'm saying? And it was captured in that moment. But in reality, I was recording each track separately, and I didn't even really play the drums. But I was using very rudimentary gear and processes to do it, and so I had to make the project something that I could accomplish with those parameters, or with the, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so with that, I went in, and it was all making that stuff up from scratch. And by the end, I wrote most of those songs that are the thickened songs, starting with the drums. And so anyway, the whole process was completely different. And so that's why I called it The Thickens. Then after I was done, I was burnt out, and then I started making art.
Okay. So
Yeah, I was burnt out with music. Yeah.
Okay. It was a secondhand.
I didn't play guitar for a year, which is crazy for me. I didn't even want to pick that thing up that sat there collecting dust for a year after I finished The Thickens, because I went that hard making that stuff up. I was in a crazy place in my head for a year making those songs up.
So that's how you started it, and then I mean, I know that it works as merchandise for your band.
Yeah.
But did you? I mean, for Crumbcatcher, did you do anything like that too? Like, did you do any merch for that?
That's funny you asked that, because for 10 years, I mean, I say I started Crumbcatcher like 10, 11 years ago now.
Yeah.
Never thought of these things. It was after being burnt out from The Thickens and not wanting to play music for that good span of time that my brain was open to other stuff. I needed a new outlet, and there started the Thickens art.
And I know we keep jumping back and forth in time, but how did Crumbcatcher start? I mean, because that was 10 years ago, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and that's when I officially would say I started it. But really, I was working on those songs like since the first one I would think I wrote when I was 21. Ish, like a long time ago, you know, and the last one I wrote last year. And so these certain songs that I write on acoustic guitar and start from there are what I consider Crumbcatcher songs, because that's just how I started and how I spent so much time. And so I got used to writing songs in that way, and it has to be the lyrics and the music. Those two things got to work real good, because that would be all I would have to work with for a lot of time.
You had a bunch of different people though come in and out of the band.
Yeah, then finally there was a drummer that helped me start it at first, and this was like 10-ish years ago. And then we got a bass player after that, and now we have a new bass player. So it is me and a bass player now. Mostly I'm still playing by myself while we wait for a drummer. But me and the new bass player have been working out some awesome renditions of these songs. So super excited about that.
That's exciting. So, you're going to wait for the full drummer, bass player to come out and play with you.
We play as a two-piece sometimes when it makes sense. But since I've been playing acoustically right now, if, most of the times I might be in coffee shops or something like that.
Yeah.
Then, it's probably better if I just do it acoustic. I think it's cool how our stuff sounds together. And he's like a virtuoso player. I'm so lucky to. Andrew Williamson is the new bass player for Crumbcatcher, and he is amazing. And we have amazing practices, and we have played some shows together, and they've gone great. But I wish it had a drummer. That's what it's supposed to be as a band.
Yeah.
So it always does kind of feel like that. Like, acoustic is like, well, this is the intimate setting, and then or a drummer, and then the halfway is like, but we still do it.
Okay, and when you think about all the times you've played, is there any time that you had that you were like, this is my favorite show that I've ever performed?
One particular show, and it was at the Poorhouse, and my girlfriend at the time was also playing drums, and it was her first time like playing a show ever. But let's just say that she killed it, and it was an amazing night, and that was my favorite show.
How long ago was that?
About 4 years or 5 years ago, I want to say.
Nice. And that was the Poorhouse in
Raleigh,
right?
yeah.
Nice.
It was a big gig for me. I'd gotten on the hopscotch before party, which I thought, oh shit. It's it was huge for Crumbcatcher, and in my mind, it was huge. And then the other drummer couldn't make it like 2 weeks out, and so she went for it. And it was, it was a crazy story. We've been practicing some at the house, but I didn't know she could do it like that, and it was amazing. It worked out perfect. It worked out perfect. Yeah. So definitely my favorite show.
That's pretty cool. What else are you working on besides the playing your new record?
Well, okay, right now, yeah, okay, so I put that out, and that's the last thing I put out, and that was a humongous deal to make and everything too. And
why?
I didn't have anything that was sounding like the acoustic stuff that I did, and at this point, I developed this set that I really liked playing. It's an acoustic set, and that's the set that's on the CD. And it's broke up by some scenes. Ended up making it a concept album. And so, like, once again, ideas just kept on stacking on top of each other. And actually, I had been recording takes of those songs for a good hot minute. Finally finished those, and I decided I don't think I was all the way finished with them even when I decided and started getting the ideas to make the album kind of like a radio play in a way between the songs. And really, like, I thought about what makes a good like folk album, because this is in some kind of way going to be like that. So I felt like adding the other stuff, the scenes in there. If anybody hadn't heard the album, it's a concept album that is meant to, if you really listen to it from beginning to end, it's a whole nother experience, I think. This was intended to be than if you just listen to the songs separately. And I finished the recording and most of the scene stuff like right as COVID kicked in, and I finally didn't have a job. And so then I made a lyric book after that, and using this art and with the lyrics to the songs, and then so it's its own thing.
You can also find it on Bandcamp. And,
you can, and Spotify and all that stuff.
Everywhere.
Everywhere you can, all the streaming platforms, you can find it. And you can buy the book online, and all this stuff is available online on Etsy, on Store MV, on Blurb Books. So,
dang, you're everywhere.
It is.
I love it.
And I'm doing all that stuff too. Right now, I'm doing all this stuff and running my house like a record label, like a very tiny record label of one. But I'm doing all those functions.
I mean, more power to you. Like, if, you can do it all. So, I mean, of course, you would want to have help from an actual record label and whatnot. But at the same time, I feel like, it gives you more authority, of course.
It does, at least that. I mean, I can creatively do what I want, and I got some channels to make some people hear it. I've started doing pop-up markets too, like all this art, the Thickens art is also canvases and posters, and t-shirts. So now I've got a full table that I can do a pop-up market with, and I'll also play at some of them, and those are what malarkey market is.
I saw that during the pandemic. You also had your little
Live streams.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I have some free editing equipment that I've been using, and yeah, especially during, and I got a green screen. That's what I did during the pandemic. Was I spent some of that extra pandemic money that I was getting. I was sitting at home and I got a green screen, and those live streams, if anybody wants to go check out my live streams on YouTube, I would spend all week, because I didn't have any much else to do at the time, coming up with them and putting them all together. And then when you see me filming them things, they were live streams. So I had the green screen, and that's why it takes me time to actually click through the things, because I had one. There was no messing up. Some of them I did mess up in, but that was it. Win, lose, or draw. So there's a lot of pre-production, no post-production.
I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, it shows your passion for it, and it shows that you just want to create. Like, I mean,
I do have a brain that likes to create a lot, and like I can't. Yeah, it's hard to turn off. It's hard to turn it off. Yeah, so I got that free editing software, and I got the streaming OBS streaming software. It's some streaming. I didn't know about it, but that's what I spent a lot of time learning, and then pulling off those. It pushed me to the max doing those live streams. It about drove me insane. But through those, I found the bass player.
Nice.
So actually, I was having that hard of a time finding bandmates, and it was somebody who Andrew Williamson, he saw one of episode 10. And that's what got me in contact with him, and it's been great working with him. So,
do you think you'll bring that back, or no?
I don't know, but no, I don't have time right now.
Yeah.
I put that same learning into making those TikToks,
Yes.
which I think those are going to work good for me. Most of them list the song in the title, in the thing, so hey, people can find what's on there. And anyway, I like them, and those are like 15 seconds. So after doing like those live streams and stuff, I really learned how to use my stuff. So now these are much easier to make, a 15-second edited video for me.
Do you think that now with how technology is, the marketing, because you said that back in the day, like you wouldn't even care about marketing, but now it feels like it just comes natural to you I mean, yes, you can get it out there, get it heard, and have it mean as much as maybe it would have meant back in the day. I think that's just always going to be changing, and you know what I mean? So to get it out there, short answer would be yeah, because you can just put anything out there and it's available for the world. It's nice to have that availability, to be able to put it out in a way that you couldn't do back in the day. You had no way to just put something out and have the whole world hear it. So as a person who's looking for an audience, yeah, it is nice. How did you get your stuff heard before? Like, you just did the CDs?
Yeah, and okay. I didn't. I mean, I was playing.
True. You did say that you wouldn't even do the CDs.
I mean, like, compared to now, no. I mean, I'm still not like, getting heard a lot, but a way more. I don't think I realized just how shit worked until I really took a dive in. I just took a dive in 2016 when I stopped doing the thick and stopped recording, and I was burnt out, and I knew I was at a place where I needed to dive in. And I really, that's what it started from, is just getting on Instagram and playing around with making those pictures was just funny to me. They looked even, more rudimentary, you could say, than they do now. I made one every day for a while.
Wow.
Yeah. And, that's just how the style developed, actually. It's just I was making them every day for a while.
Did you have any, I know everybody asks like an inspiration, but was there a, like, in a way, like a blueprint of when you were creating these?
The blueprint formed to play around with it. I'm just having fun the whole time I'm making one of those pictures. And it just has to be something that just look, I can't explain it, but each one has a definite point to where the picture itself is done and I don't want to add anything else. And then I'll just keep thinking about what I would write underneath it until finally something makes me laugh. And then that's what it is. And there is just a feeling when I know it's done. The pictures themselves are like different people get different things from those pictures.
Interpretations.
Yes.
Yeah.
And until I started doing these pop-up markets and watching what other people how they reacted to my artwork, I didn't realize it. So I don't like to describe the process as much as I used to. People will ask me now, like, what's this about? And I don't like to tell them anymore because people, just like how I I take the thickens could be something random, and me and you, we were all talking, what does it mean? And so the whole thing kind of carries that. And then I realized that people will see drastically different things in them pictures, and I'm so zoned in because I make these on my phone. So
Nice.
I get zoned in and I'm picturing, I see a face and some peeling paint and put some shoes on it. I see a character with the face or whatever. All of the pictures are a big mesh of that. One time I have this shirt with the dragon on it, says, when it chirps, it's the most beautiful thing you've ever heard. And I overheard this woman see it, and she said, the first thing, she was talking to somebody else, and she said, it's so true. When you're in a hospital and you don't ever get outside and hear nothing but those machines, it's exactly like that. And I'm like, I would have never, that's not the place that I never had that type of idea when I made that shirt. Because I didn't have that kind of experience. And somebody saw that and it meant I knew that the way she said it is like it meant exactly that to her. It made her think exactly that. And that's when I realized I don't want to tell anybody what it's about to me anymore.
I mean, that's what, in a way, like what artists usually do. They just put, a random square with whatever, and then it's like, this is what the name of it. And then you can just interpret differently. So okay,
it's wild how it works.
Besides you working on your own projects, is there any music that you listen to that you love, that you're obsessed with, or it's all about the Thickens and Crumbcatcher?
I go through phases where I'm more of a listener and more of a maker. And right now, because I've been listening some, and like usually I'll just put on playlist of like old soul music and something that is like that, rather than right now currently there's not like a certain artist or album that I'm obsessed with. Sometimes there are, but right now, no. And I'm not in a super listening phase right now.
What's coming up because I know you got two projects. But right now you're Crumbcatcher.
Yeah.
Right. Is the Thickens, the Thickens is the name of your art.
Yeah, yeah.
But which also falls into the music that you created before. I
probably won't do any more music.
Okay, no more Thickens. No more musical Thickens, but more art Thickens.
Yeah, definitely more art Thickens. I'm definitely going to keep on doing the art. And the new things that I'm creating wise are those thick talk. I got thick talks, crunch talks, and whack talks. So big crunch, which here's the cover. So because I put it in every single one of them, that's why I did that. But like I said, it's also a concept album. It has radio sound and scenes in there, and so these crunch talks are just extensions, like headlines that the same DJ that I'm is also saying, and it's an extension of that world.
Got it.
So that's what it is to me, and yeah.
I love that. It's just funny. Like I see the one with your cat. Which one's that one?
Those are whack talks.
Okay.
So I got the cat in the crunch talks. The visual image, is me sitting in a chair with the cat on my lap, and then there's some smoke forming up, and the room is changing colors, and it's zooming in on the radio, and it zooms back out. And then the whack talks takes that cat from my lap, which is my cat, and and the cat is rapping. The cat is it's like the cat. What it is that I put a hidden camera on my cat while I went to work, and the cat was taking my equipment and making songs and making rap videos. And so really, I've been telling the cat it probably needs to tighten up a little bit. Anyway.
I love it. I love it. I love it. What's up with Crumbcatcher? You got shows coming up?
Yeah. We're looking for a drummer. Mm-hmm. Me and Andrew are looking for a drummer.
Everybody, a drummer. Okay.
It's very hard to find a drummer, and I'm telling you, if we had the right drummer, it'd be a good thing.
Who's the right drummer? Like, who would be the right drummer?
You know, somebody who likes the songwriting process. Okay. Somebody who enjoys that process, and it's not the hardest stuff to play. It's more about what you don't play than what you do, because there's a lot going on, so the drummer holds it together. And people think it's hard, but it's not that hard.
So where do they I mean, let's say somebody watching is like, oh, I would like to be a drummer and play. They just contact you on Instagram.
Yeah, or contact me on the contact through my website.
The WordPress
site. WordPress. Yeah.
So, dude, you're looking for a drummer, but you're playing acoustic.
Yeah. Because I don't have any bandmates. Yeah. I mean, Andrew, like I said, but like...
But do you like it? I mean, do you enjoy, or are you kind of bored of playing acoustic?
I would rather have a drummer for sure. Mm-hmm. These are the songs that I write are meant to be full band songs. And I think if anybody hears them, they'll hear that, man, those would be good with some drums. So on the one hand, I mean, I don't hate playing acoustically. I've done it so much. I like it. There is something fun about it. But it doesn't beat playing with a band for sure. And I miss the heck out of that. So absolutely.
But I just wanted to, finish up just asking you my ending question, which is, if you had to bring a record to a deserted island, which record would that be and why?
I know it would be something by Parliament Funkadelic.
Nice.
Yeah. It would definitely be, I don't know which one, maybe We Want the Funk one, but it would be something about Parliament Funkadelic, absolutely.
And why?
I just like something about those I can listen to more than anything else. Something about Parliament Funkadelic gets me going. That's a big influence.
Nice.
I mean, I see you probably can't hear that in all my songs, but Parliament Funkadelic, Desert Island, something by them.
Thank you so much.
For sure, you're welcome.
Thank you so much, and we'll see you around, playing around Greensboro for sure.
Awesome.
Thank you.
A covered wagon rides through a desolate countryside. The torn canvas tied over the coffin of his bride, but only bags of gold inside. Ambush attacks spread across a map that's shredded in the wind, like smoke from holes through cowboy hats. Two, three, four, explosion from behind a boulder. Dynamite dust as a wagon smolders. Empty saddle as a desert sun lowers.